Welcome back to the channel, guys. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to install board and batten siding, also known as vertical siding. As you can see here behind me, it runs straight up and down instead of left to right like you've been watching in my previous videos. And if you're new to this channel, my name's Josh. This channel is all about building your own house, saving a ton of money. So be sure to subscribe, ring that bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video, and smash that like button. That's all I ask in return for making this video. So I'm going to give you a brief explanation of what's going on here behind me. I got this white post right here that's going to divide the stone coming over to the house and the vertical siding. So I already got J-channel installed along the edge here, and I got an inside corner installed here, and the vertical siding is going to be placed in between. So if you look here, we're going to have to get measurements from the middle and go out, so that way the board and batten is spaced evenly across the wall instead of having maybe this solid batten piece starting here and then running and then having an odd finish right here. So you want to space it evenly. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Let's get started. So here's two scrap pieces of the board and batten siding. So when it interlocks together, it's going to give you about 7 inches from batten to batten. So we're going to use 7 inches as our mark to go across, so we know each panel is going to be 7 inches apart. So as you can see there, that's how it snaps together. It's going to look something like that. And it's 7 inches from this center of this batten to the center of this batten. So since we know it's 7 inches, what you got to do is put this piece in the center of the wall. This is just going to be for measurements. This is not nailed and installed yet. So we're going to go to the center of the wall, and I know 32.5 is center. So we're going to move it center here and just double check this way. 32.5. Yep, that looks good. So if it's 32.5 to the center, it's sitting there. And then all we got to do, we know we go multiples 7 inches. So we go 7, 14, 21, 28. So if we go here across, 28 puts us right here to the center. And we'll make a little mark there. And that's going to be the center of that bat. And then the same here. So we'll go 28. And that looks good. And that's going to be the center of that bat. So that's going to let us know what size piece we got to rip down first to start. So after we get this measurement, we'll go ahead and measure it now. That gives us, looks like about 4.5. Let me check this side. And it's about the same. So we know if we take 4.5 from the center of the bat, pick up the scrap pieces I dropped here earlier. If you measure over 4.5, that is right here. So we know we need to rip this off in order to start the run. So we're going to go ahead and rip this piece down. Of course, it's going to be a big full sheet that's just scrap. And then we'll go ahead and install that, then continue the run over. So the first thing I'm going to do before I rip this down, I clearly have to cut it to height. And now we know we need 106 and about a little shy of 106.25. So that's going to be our height. So you're going to have to cut it to that first. And the best thing to do is use a speed square. After you make your mark, just make a straight line going across. And there's several tools you can use to cut this, but for simplicity's sake, most people have tin snips laying around the house or around the garage. But after you mark it, you simply have to just cut down your straight line. And this stuff seems to be a little heavier gauge than the horizontal siding. I'm not sure if it's just this brand, but it seems to be pretty good stuff. Okay, and this is Certainteed brand, by the way. And it's the 7-inch board and batten. All right, so now we know we actually need to take the 4.5 measurement, take 1/4 inch off. So we need 4.25. So in order to do that, all we got to do is go ahead and snap a piece on here just so we know we got it marked off correctly. So if we go from the center here, pull that over, we'll go 4.25. So right there. So that's going to be where we need to rip it off. And we can just take a speed square, hold it up to that, looks like about 3 1/8 from the edge, hold it against the edge of that siding. Just scribe down that way. And again, there's several ways you can make this line. You can hold a straight edge up to it. You can, I mean, the options are endless. Oh, get that out of the way. All right, so now we just need to make that line going down the whole piece of board, rip it down, and this is going to be our starter. Here's the piece that we just cut and ripped down, and as you can see here, it's going to slide back into this corner, okay? So the only problem with that is we have this straight cut, right? So what we need to do first before we install it in that corner is we need to install what's called utility trim, and some people call it undersill trim. So we'll have to slide this back in the corner first, like so. And what this does is gives us a place to slide our piece of siding in, and it gives us a finished edge. And I'll show you what that looks like in just a minute. But all you gotta do is push that tight into the corner, and then take these aluminum roofing nails, which are the same nails you install the siding with. So they're 1.25 inches, and push it back into that corner and go ahead and just tack your nail in the middle of the nailing flange. And not super tight, you want to give it a little room for expansion. And then just nail that off every 12 to 16 inches going straight up and down. And then we'll go ahead and install our first piece. So we got the utility trim installed. So all you gotta do is slide this piece right into it. And they make a tool that puts little snap locks in this piece. And I never use it, to be honest with you, and I've never had any problems. But what it does, puts little rivets so it kind of locks into that channel. So it's up to you if you want to get it, but I never use it, like I said, and I have had 0 problems. But I just figured I'd let you know that. So go ahead and slide that into that utility trim. Now that that piece is slid tight into that utility trim, something important that is kind of a pro tip is make sure you got the same reveal going up and down this piece of siding. So we got 3 inches, 3 inches. And the reason why I say that is this channel may not be perfectly level, or your cut might not be perfectly straight. So if you push it in there tight, it might be tilted one way or the other. So just make sure you got the same reveal from the utility trim to the nailing flange or some straight edge on the edge of that piece of siding. So now that we got this snapped where we want it, you want to go ahead and secure that with some roofing nails. Let's do that. And when you nail this stuff on, you want to leave a little room for expansion and contraction. So you do not want to nail this tight. You want to make sure it's a little on the loose side so it gives it room to contract and expand. All right, now nail that every 16 to 12 inches, and then it's time to install the next piece. I'll show you how to do that. Now that we got our starter piece installed and slid into the utility trim and nailed off, what we gotta do is cut a full piece to length. So I already did that, so you slide it into your J channel, flex it into place, and now what you gotta do is slide it up to where it interlocks and go ahead and give it a pull over. Okay, so now that we got it snapped into place and interlocked very well, and now what we gotta do is, again, just like our starter piece, nail it every 16 to 12 inches using our aluminum roofing nails. And again, do not nail tight. Leave about an 1/8 inch gap between the nail head and the siding's nailing flange. And just continue this process across the whole wall. So this is the last piece that I snapped in. I just wanted to show you up close. You got this utility trim you slotted in, so there's virtually no nails holding this last piece. It's just in here locked into that utility trim or undersill, whatever you want to call it. And that's what it's going to look like when you finish up the wall. And I wanted to point out, if you see the space here and look at the space where we began, it's the same. So that gives you that even middle of the wall look. So that is what you want. So it takes a little calculating at first, but it definitely makes it worth it. It looks really good. If you were going to install a wall with windows like this or around a door with J-channel, you do the same thing. You're going to have to install that utility trim right behind here as well. So that's something you're going to have to keep in mind. And so that way it gives you the same kind of edge that's finished and held securely. And this wall is going to take a little bit of time, and that's going to be for another day. But that is all there is to installing a wall using board and batten vertical siding, 7-inch. If you have any questions or comments about this video, be sure to leave them in the comment section below. I will get to them as soon as possible. Alright guys, I just wanted to say thanks a lot for watching. Be sure to subscribe, ring the bell so you get a notification every time I release a new video, and smash that like button. I appreciate it. I'm going to go ahead and get started running the siding on the other wall, so I better get busy because I got a lot to do. Alright, see you in the next video. Peace.